Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb. It is Wednesday evening, just after 9 o'clock. And let's talk about the weather. This is your extended weather discussion as we talk about Metro Atlanta weather around the state of Georgia and around the southeast, and especially what type of weather are we going to be experiencing as we get closer to the weekend and a holiday weekend, with this being Easter Sunday. And we have really been in a pretty nice weather pattern over the past couple of days. We had a cold front that came in yesterday that kicked up the wind, brought in some cooler air. We felt that cooler air this morning with temperatures that dropped down into the 40s. And then this afternoon, highs in the lower 70s again, right around 73 degrees. But it has been a dry pattern. The front that came through only had a few clouds with it yesterday, didn't have any rain. And this dry pattern that we're in right now is going to be with us not only for the end of the week, but also through the weekend. Our next rain chance won't come in until the beginning of next week. So between now and then, we're going to experience more of that sunshine and more warming, with temperatures by the weekend nearing record levels, getting back up into the mid and even some upper 80s in some spots heading into the weekend. So let's first talk about that pollen count, because remember we talked about this yesterday, and I was saying I was going to be really curious to see what happened with these numbers. We had two things happen. Number one, the wind from yesterday really kind of stirred things up a little bit, and I was thinking that we would most likely have a higher pollen count. Now, one little part of that made me wonder is the fact that it got cooler, and a lot of times that cooler air suppresses any of the pollen being dispersed out there. But I think the wind really overtook that, because the number that we had from this morning that came out from the Atlanta and allergy is 2128. That is back up to the extremely high range. This is still mainly from tree pollens, and the main pollens present are mulberry, oak, pine, sycamore, and juniper. Now, pine is that yellow stuff that you see over many things, but we still are seeing that now, but it's just not as thick as it was at the end of March and beginning of April, when we peaked and we had that highest pollen count on record at over 14,000. So yes, there is still some yellow pine pollen out there, just not as much as what we had earlier, again, at the end of the month and the beginning of this month too. I also want to show you what we're watching with the calendar. Take a look at this. Now, we do see those pollen numbers that were highest there at the beginning of the month. That's when we were dealing with that pollen count, actually Sunday, April 30th of 11,159. That was way high up there. The day before that, on the 29th, that's when we had that pollen count of more than 4,000, more than 14,000 actually. And then ever since then, you can see those numbers were really high that first week of April. 7,000 plus on Wednesday the 2nd, more than 5,000 for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then we had the rain that came in Sunday and into Monday, and that's what brought that pollen count down to 86. That really helped to wash out some of the pollen. But then it slowly started building up a little bit more. But it wasn't until yesterday and today until we saw some of these more extremely high counts coming back. Now, we have the cooler air that was with us somewhat today. And we didn't have as much wind, so it'll be interesting to see if the numbers come down a little bit tomorrow. But then we warm up again going into the weekend with temperatures into the 80s, and that might make those pollen counts come up once again. So I told you yesterday, I washed off our back porch, brought out only a few things just because I wanted to enjoy the beautiful weather this past weekend. But even if I do get a little pollen on the stuff that I've already brought back out, I know that it won't be the really thick stuff, and I can clean that off a little bit easier. So I did tell some folks, if you don't want to maybe have to wipe things down again, wait until maybe this weekend or after this weekend, then it might be a little bit safer then, and that pollen won't be, again, as much of it out there over the next few days. Now, we have dry weather conditions over us right now, and really around the southeast it's dry. There is a little bit of moisture we've been watching coming out of Missouri, Arkansas, a little bit of that falling apart into parts of Tennessee and into Alabama. Really just a couple of raindrops with that. That is all ahead of this next system that we're going to be watching, and tomorrow the severe weather threat is nowhere near us. We're going to be fine here in Atlanta, plenty of sunshine. We're going to have no rain around, just a few little clouds here and there. But here's the next system that's developing in the Midwest. You can see the level 2 of 5 risk, the yellow color there, into parts of Nebraska, Iowa, the northern parts of Missouri, and over into barely getting into parts of Illinois. And then surrounding that is the green color, which is the level 1 of 5 risk for severe storms. So that's going to be the area tomorrow where we see the better chance for some of those severe storms that could be developing. And then watch this system as it begins to move to the east. It's going to really develop and grow a little bit more, stretching from Texas, that yellow color, the level 2 of 5 risk, from Texas all the way up to the Great Lakes region. And still, that's going to be far away from us. But these will be the areas on Friday that we're watching that could have some strong storms with it. And that may edge a little bit more to the east on Saturday. Still not to us, though, before it all kind of weakens somewhat and just becomes just general showers that we won't be experiencing here until Monday. And I don't expect us to have a big time severe weather threat with that on Monday. But this is just going to be the focus, the next system that we're watching over the next few days. Excuse me, as it develops in those areas to the north and also to the west of us. But it's not going to be impacting us anytime soon. So here's a look at the almanac for today. We made it up to 73. Earlier, I was telling you the high so far when we were on at 5 and 6 o'clock that the high so far was 72, but it actually went up a degree. So 73 is the official high for today's date. Our low this morning was 47. Now that's 73-degree temperature. 1 degree below the average. The 47-degree low was a few degrees below the average. So today averaged below where we should be for this time of year. But that's all going to change as we start moving through the next couple of days and few days really, as we're going to see those temperatures getting back to above average. The record for today's date is 86. Of course, we were nowhere near that. And we haven't had any rain. That rainfall deficit growing about 1.25 inches below where we should be in rainfall for the year. Here is a look at the numbers though. As you can see, those temperatures that were a little cooler this morning in the 40s to start the day, just around sunrise and after when we had that coolest temperature of the day, and then rising pretty quickly. But again, topping off right there, I know it says 72 here on the maps, but we really hit 73 in between those hourlies, which again is just 1 degree below the average. Right now, it's feeling pretty nice. We're at 64 here in town. Atlanta and Athens, one of the milder, or some of the milder spots here. We also have 62 in Gainesville, 62 in Marietta, 61 in Duluth and Canton. 50s though on the south side. In the areas with less concrete and less buildings around, we're seeing some of that warmer air from today radiating out much quicker, and those areas are cooling off a little bit faster too. So during the day tomorrow, we're going to be starting off with temperatures in the 40s once again, but in town, it'll be at about 49 degrees. Outside the city, maybe some mid 40s. So a cool start, but then we're going to warm up at a faster rate tomorrow compared to what we had today. By lunchtime, we're going to see temperatures up to the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees, and then topping off at 78 in the late afternoon hours, around 4, 5 o'clock, when we'll see that highest temperature of the day. We will see plenty of sunshine, but there could be a couple of clouds that mix in. Now, even though these maps for our forecast track aren't really showing a lot of activity here, I do want you to watch the arrows, because the shift in the wind direction and the wind flow is going to impact our temperatures a little bit more. So you can see those winds or the breezes tonight still coming out of the north and northwest. That's just that general flow that keeps us on the cool side tonight, with temperatures in the morning into those upper 40s and even mid 40s outside the city. So that's what we'll be dealing with early in the morning. Maybe a couple of clouds mixing in here and there during the day. So not quite as much sunshine or pure sunshine tomorrow compared to what we had today, but we'll have sun mixing in with a few of those clouds, and some of those clouds a little more abundant later in the afternoon hours, especially north of I-20 and east of I-20 as well. But you notice there those arrows, how they're becoming more southerly later on Thursday and into the day on Friday. It is that southerly component, winds coming out of the south, transporting some of the warmer air that is to the south of us and moving it up into our area. And that's what's going to help those temperatures to rise even more for Friday. So Thursday, we're expecting highs to be in the upper 70s. Then on Friday, we're going to go back into the 80s. And then Saturday, we're talking mid, even some upper 80s in some spots thanks to that southerly flow. Now on Friday, it'll be another one of those days. See how that's really more of a sharp southerly flow there in the afternoon? But we will have a few clouds that'll be mixing in with the sunshine once again. And the same thing pretty much on Saturday. Sunshine mixing in with some of those clouds here and there. But by afternoon on Saturday, yes, we will have a couple of more clouds around, but temperatures will still be able to make it up to around 87 degrees here in the afternoon. The record for Saturday's date is 88, so we think we'll be just below that. We also continue this rather prolonged dry period with dry weather sticking with us through Sunday. I know yesterday I was telling you there may be a 20% chance for a shower late on Sunday. Now we're thinking it's just going to hold off until Monday when we see the rain chance up to about 40%. And then we'll have a few more of those off and on rain chances into parts of next week too. So today, as I mentioned, those temperatures trending just a little bit below where we should be for this time of year. Now that cooler air is going to move up toward the north and east. As it goes away, that opens the door for more warm weather. And that's going to be kind of the transition period tomorrow. We'll be warming into the upper 70s. But then get ready for it to get even hotter as we see the 80s that'll be moving in here. We'll be experiencing that on Friday as well as into Saturday, holding on to those hotter temperatures into Sunday as well before we trend back down to the lower 80s going into Monday and Tuesday. We'll just call that regular old warm weather here, and that's where we're going to see that better chance for a few of those showers around. So could we break any records with this warmer air moving our way? Well, I don't think so on Friday. I know we won't break a record on Thursday with temperatures in the 70s. Then on Friday, we're into the 80s. 84 is our forecast high temperature for Friday. But the record for Friday's date is 87, so we'll be about 3 degrees away from the record. It's going to be on Saturday when we have a better chance of potentially getting closer to a record. We're forecasting a high of 87 on Saturday. The record is 88. The record on Sunday is also 88, but we're forecasting a high of 85. So really, we'll be close to records. I don't think that we would tie or break one. Saturday would be the day that we will be potentially closest to either tying or breaking a record. The morning temperatures also get a little milder over the next few days. We wake up in the morning to temperatures at 49, then we'll be at 54 Friday morning, 60 Saturday morning, 63 Easter Sunday morning, and also 63 on Monday morning too. And with those lows coming up a little bit more, that's just showing us a better chance for some clouds around to hold in some of that warmth. And the moisture content in the air is going to be going up along with those dew points. And as the dew points rise, it's harder for temperatures to fall to get into some of those colder levels. Now look at the afternoon temperatures too, rising to 87 Saturday, back to 85 Sunday, and then a lower 80s here for your Monday. Still above the average, but at least that starts coming down a little bit. So here's the European model. I'll show you the rainfall, only a couple of clouds here on Saturday. Sunday, it looks like that moisture is going to stay out to the west of us, but it's by Monday when we see some of that rain moving in, rain chance at about 40%, and then we're going to be still at about a 30% chance for showers here on your Tuesday, and then Wednesday maybe down to just about a 20% chance for a shower pushing through our area. So here is a look at your 7-day forecast where we have that dry pattern not only to finish up the week, but also to go into the weekend, where we have temperatures that are going to be at about 78 on Thursday, 84 on Friday, so getting warmer, and then into Saturday. That's the day we come closest to that record at 87 degrees, but the record's 88, 85 Sunday. So dry Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then going into next week, after Easter Sunday, that's when we see that rain chance at 40% Monday, 30% Tuesday, 20% on Wednesday as those temperatures trend back down into generally the lower 80s for the first part of next week. So keep it with us right here on 11 Alive and 11 Alive Plus. We'll have more as we see those any temperature fluctuations or any changes in those rain chances. We'll have more extended outlooks for you right here on 11 Alive Plus.